Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to call the Highway and Building Committee meeting of Thursday, July 14th to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Deno? Mr. Hess? Mr. Tholen? Ms. Weber? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long?
Present.
Mr. Hunter?
Presente.
Ms. Hudson? Mr. Smith? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Mr. Gowler? Mr. Raymond? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Mr. Seroy? We have a quorum.
Thank you. I don't have any public comments on my desk. Is any public comments? Is there any public comments? See no public comments. Next will be the approval of the minutes for June 16, 2022. Can I have a motion and a second to approve that? Mr. Svedlin. Okay, Ms. Hudson, second. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Anybody opposed, the same sign. Okay. It's passed, it's approved. Next will be the highways. Mr. Hayden.
All right. No bidding, no letting this month.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No bidding, no letting this month. Pay estimates. The first one we have is for Kankakee County for Grasso Construction, oil and chip on our county highways in the amount of $140,580.49 from our county MFT fund. Next, for Kankakee Valley Construction, for buying asphalt for patching on our roadways. Kankakee Valley, the amount of $364.50 from the county motor fuel tax fund. Next, Kankakee County, section 22-00000-00 GM. Vulcan materials for stone we use for on the highways, in the amount of $5,083.05 from the county MFT fund. Next is Essex Township, section 22-03000-00-GM for Grasso Construction for an oil and chip on their roads in the amount of $36,283.63, and that's split between the Township RBI fund and the Township MFT fund. Next is Kankakee County, Norton Township, section 22-09000-00-GM for Grasso Construction, oil and chip on their township roads in the amount of $40,693.70 from their Township RBI fund, Rebuild Illinois. Next, Pilot Township for Grasso Construction, section 22-12000-00-GM for oil and chip on their township roads in the amount of $155,441.10. And again, that's split between the Township RBI and Township MFT funds. Next is Salina Township, section 22-14000-00-GM for Grasso Construction, again, oil and chip on Salina Township roads in the amount of $65,026.05, and that's split between the Township MFT and the Township Rebuild Illinois funds. Next is Otto Township, section 22-10000-00-GM, supplement 1 for Kankakee Valley Construction for repairs, resurfacing they did on their township roads in the amount of $105,672.96, and that's split between the MFT fund and the Township RBI fund. Next is Pembroke Township, section 22-11000-00-GM for equipment rental for using their equipment in the duties of repairing their roads in the amount of $3,758.52. another Pembroke Township, section 22-11-000-00-GM Supplement 1 for Toby's Construction and Cartage for aggregate repair on township roads in the amount of $37,164.38, split between the Township MFT Fund and the Township RBI Fund. And last is Kankakee County, section 22-00000-00-BI for Engineering Resource Associates for doing bridge inspections of our county bridges, and the amount of $5,608.00, and that's coming from the County Bridge Fund. And that is it.
Of the bill, okay. Mr. Hunter?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Mr. Long. It's gonna be a roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Aye. Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Ms. Hudson? Mr. Raymond? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hayden, I got a question. With respect to all this work that's going to be done, especially with the infrastructure initiatives federally passed down through the state, are there any opportunities or any attempts to, when you do the bidding and so forth and letting of bids, that you require minority subs to be incorporated in the process?
I know the state has those requirements.
Yep.
I don't know that we have.
Well, I just wanted you to mull over that, and based on, you know, the initiatives that are coming down federally through state and locally, we're going to be busy as hell. And I looked recently at some of the initiatives, some of the minority businesses, especially the people who do asphalt work and so forth, right across the street from Armstrong. They did one heck of a job, and there's some other businesses along Hobby Avenue, Core, and another minority business. That may not be minority because I think they're a homogeneous workforce, but anyway, I want you to take a look at that and see what you can come up with if indeed, in some instances, like, you know, the big MPO projects, they're going to happen over on Hobby Avenue. And I know Chairman Wheeler is familiar with that project. That's megabucks. And I'd like to see some people look like me working on some of those jobs.
Okay, the first thing I would suggest for these companies, they need to be pre-qualified with IDOT.
I understand.
And once they get beyond that, then they're qualified to bid and or be a subcontractor on, you know, larger projects like you're mentioning.
Okay, so you will interface and talk about it a little bit more, but I just want to bring that matter up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chairman Wheeler?
And just so, and I see where Steve's going, and I agree. The one thing to keep in mind is all these MPO projects, they are the project of the sponsoring entity. So Hobby is actually bid by the city of Kankakee instead of the county. We pool all of our MFT as a region, and then we select the highest priority projects as determined by the MPO. So that's just as a FYI that goes. So ours is, we just are doing the engineering that we just approved at the last board meeting because we're the next one up. And so that whole process will begin. You're doing engineering for the, basically 57 to Route 45 project that's going to widen all that. So that'll be on us to bid when the time comes.
Okay.
And I believe with all state money, that is a requirement. I believe when it's funded through the state that there has to be a certain percentage. Yeah.
The numbers I don't remember, but yeah, they usually have a minority and other percentages they're trying to fulfill.
They're not suggestions, they are actual requirements. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, so next will be the his resolution, if you don't mind reading that for the record.
Okay, I'm gonna read this entire thing until you tell me to stop. This is a resolution and ordinance.
Motion to read the title.
Yeah, just the title only. It's only the title.
Resolution and ordinance for the establishment of an altered speed zone on North 4000 West Road from 700 North to 1100 North in Limestone Road District.
Okay. So, we're gonna,
I can keep reading if you'd like me to. I can paraphrase for you. We got a request. Right now, the statutory speed limit's 55 miles, and we got a request from the township to check this out. We went out, did our thing. We did radar of all the vehicles going by to determine the prevailing speed that's out there, and other factors like the amount of driveways. The more driveways you have, the more conflicts you have with people coming out and going in. So as part of that study, we determined that they are justified in lowering the speed limit to 45 miles an hour within the stretch that I mentioned here, half a mile basically section. And
I'm just curious what Mr. Long might feel about that, being it's his area, so he's got the hot potato.
okay, well done. Is that 5?
Yes, number 5.
Okay.
So that stretch of roadway is barely wide enough for 2 vehicles to pass each other, and at 55 miles an hour it creates a huge danger. Ditch to ditch, I don't think it meets the minimum requirements because, you know, it's an old roadway that has never been improved. Tar and chipped today, but not wide enough, I'm sure. Definitely appropriate.
All right, so, is that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Federlin. That will be a voice vote on that one. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, the same sign. Motion passes.
Does it then go to the full board, or does it become?
according to this, it goes on the
Yeah.
board.
All right, so do we have anything else for us?
Just a couple comments about paint. I didn't think it was going to be a problem 2 months ago when they promised we were getting paint by the end of May. Well, we've been getting re-promises since then. We have not received an ounce of paint as of this date. We bought the paint through state bid, so the state is fighting with the supplier. The supplier says they can't get resins to make the paint, therefore we can't give you the paint. And we're kind of on the bottom of that barrel there. But the state is fighting with them because they're trying to limit everyone to 75% of your order, period. That's all you're gonna get, if you even get it. The last letter we got says we're gonna get it July 29th, but we've been down that road before and we're not very hopeful. We've used about every ounce of paint we've got right now, striping our new roads that we paved this year. Some of the important ones, I think down by the fairgrounds, we got that striped. But we're very limited right now, and we're waiting for that paint to show up. I just want to let you know what's going on there.
Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You ever check with Valspar? I mean, you know, when I was an alderman and stuff, we used to get barrels and barrels of that stuff for kids to paint addresses, numbers on the curbs. You ever, you know, maybe they got some.
We've been contacting other companies trying to find other avenues for paint. Unfortunately, through the state bid, that's your cheapest price. We can get it for a higher price. We're limited to $30,000, where we're ordering $120,000 right now of paint for the whole year. So we could buy it at a higher price, but we're still not going to have enough to get all our work done this year. So we're holding out hope that this July letter is, the delivery date is the winter. We'll see.
And who's doing the painting?
We do the paint. We're waiting to get the paint so we can do the work.
So how have you done with respect to summer employment?
I'm sorry?
How have you done regarding summer employment, kids?
We had 2 applicants and we hired them both. And we'd love to have more, but
What'd you pay them?
we ended up having to go up to $15 an hour.
Thank you, thank you.
And so that was my paint update. I just wanted to let you know.
Anything else?
Nope.
Any other comments, questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. Next will be buildings. Mr. Andrews. Good morning.
All right, good morning. All right, first item on the agenda is obviously the financial report. If you look over that, I think it looks great. I think pretty much every line item we're below where we were at this point last year. You'll see really the only, I think, item to talk about on there is line item 87,510. So you can see, I mean, we're basically year to date this year, we're at 694. Year to date last year, we're at 608, but with 87,510 on there, which we've talked about a lot of time or several times, that's building improvements that eventually are going to get shifted over with ARPA monies. So, I mean, when you factor that out of there, I think it looks pretty well. Any questions? All right, if there's no questions, we'll move on to the facility dude report. We had 181 work orders in the month of June, which of course is a busy month. Moving on to the building report. Here at 189, we just completed a compressor replacement on unit 1 that serves the first floor. It's an old unit. If I had to guess, it's probably upwards of 30 years old, that unit. It's a large unit. We just completed that a couple weeks ago. The elevator is complete, as you guys hopefully have seen when you came in today. We got 2 working elevators for the first time in nearly 2 years. So, pretty excited about that. I've already contacted our insurance provider to finalize the insurance claim. So obviously with Kone, we've got their final invoice, compiling final invoices for the radiator piping that had to be removed, the associated insulation, the penthouse electric and HVAC units that we needed to install for the temperature sensitive computer components for the elevator system. So I've already been in contact with them. They're going to be sending out an adjuster basically to look at a few of these items that we did. Obviously the HVAC and electric they can look at and see. The piping that was removed and the insulation that was removed, we've got photos of that, so I mean we can show them. But they plan to come out and finalize things. I'll get all the additional claim information to them, and I hope to have all that finalized. There may be some, we'll have to look into the policy to figure out, the code upgrade type items and what the coverage is for those, because I assume the piping and the associated insulation that we had to remove would fall under code upgrade, because that's why we had to do it, because it was a code issue. The HVAC and whatnot up in the penthouse, I would assume that would be covered as well, because we had to have it for the new components associated with the claim. So don't expect any issues. They haven't told me of any issues. I'm just talking through it here with you today. So granite work here is still in the works. It's still in my queue. The company we hired is very busy. They assured me they will be getting to it in short order. So that's still in the works and on my list here. We've gone through some training. Last time we spoke, we did some shooter preparedness training that has since been completed. I'm already in communications with Becky out at the EMA. We're going to do fire and tornado as well. So we're going to look into getting both of those trainings done here at this building. I would think hopefully over the next month or two, we'll get both of those done. Mail machine. So we have a 5-year lease on our current mail machine that is up in September of this year. They're going to be updating a new proposal for me for a new unit. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. So that's the mail machine that's in the mail room in the basement. If any of you have ever been down there, it's in a small room just off the cafeteria. So our courier in the maintenance department makes the rounds, collects all the mail, brings it back here for processing, and then over to the post office. So that mail machine is something that's vital to the business that the county does on a daily basis, and something that needs to probably be priority for me over the next month to get this worked out and figure out what direction we're headed with the new lease that we'd be looking at. So, any questions at 189? Okay, if there's no questions, moving on to the courthouse. Next week, Thursday, we have a meeting to finalize the floor plans for the basement renovation and get things set up to go out to bid. So we're very close to, I believe Doug's pretty well got everything taken care of over there. It was an engineering nightmare. He quit 3 times throughout the project, you know, and we're not even out to bid yet. So, I mean, just to move the basement walls and get everything where we needed it, there were so many pipes that needed to be moved to make that happen, and he spent a lot of time over there. So, when you see those invoices coming through, Mr. Chairman, he spent a lot of time there working on that. So, both air handlers there are giving me fits. So, I mean, the one on I'm trying to think of my directions here. The one on the east side has always given us problems. Now on the west side's given us problems too. So we've had to put in new fan motors. The fan motor issue is on the west side. The compressor issue tripping out is on the east side. So we continue to fight both of those. We can limp them through the day. They need to be reset usually once a day, which is kind of a pain because if I'm not in my office watching it and it goes off, you know, we're behind by an hour or so. But I've got vendors on both of those issues, so hopefully we can get that taken care of in short order. Old jail and annex, looking at some bathroom stalls for the annex, especially the men's side. Those are rusted and old and they're in need of replacement, so I'm going to get some numbers on that, and I've been in conversations with Tom Latham on that and the chairman as well, so we'll get some numbers on that, bring it to the committee, and we can discuss that hopefully next month. Same goes for carpeting. We're going to get some quotes on that as well. Maybe just some areas that are potential trip hazards, maybe the whole building, maybe nothing. We don't know at this point. I'm just going to get some numbers together and we can talk about that as well. We had a minor roof repair to the tune of about $3,000, $4,000 on the lower east side roof at the jail. The roof lifted a little bit and shifted some insulation. That's since been repaired, and we believe the cause of that has been taken care of as well. Out at Jerome Combs, we've had a lot of kitchen issues. It seems like each month it's a different section of the building, and the last month, maybe month and a half, has been a lot of kitchen issues. You know, we've had ovens going down, we've had a steamer that's been causing us issues, the dishwasher, you know, and ordering parts and everything for that. Not only is it hard to get parts, they're expensive to get parts. So been fighting that. We're in a pretty good spot right now. The steamer, I had to call for an outside vendor to come in. I believe the dishwasher, we were able to get that fixed in-house, which that's always nice. Still looking at paint and booking, but to Greg's point, the gentleman we've been discussing the paint with, he can't get the paint. So for whatever reason, there's must be a paint shortage. Because much like he said, we're having trouble finding the paint that we need as well. Other than that, I've got plumbing. I mean, it's every day. So toilets, faucets, showers, it's kind of a broken record, but that's really 85% of what we do out there is plumbing related. So the last thing I got is at a building that I seldom talk about, but animal control. There's a water leak that we discovered. I've had our vendor on that as well, and they haven't been able to find the source of it. They opened up a small hole in a wall to see if they could locate the leak. They were not able to do so. I haven't talked to them as of yet today. This was yesterday. If it's that building's on a slab, so if the leak is found to be underground or in the slab, I mean, that's obviously not going to be a very good deal. So that's all I got. Any questions?
Oh, I actually do have a question. That would be with the budget here. Are you predicting to stay within your yearly budget this year? Because I'm looking in here right now, according to your report, you are up to 79% of your budget, your yearly budget right now.
Mhm.
So we still have about 5 months left,
Yeah.
correct? So would bring us to about 11% for each month out of your budget. So
Are you factoring in removal of 87,510 from your numbers?
no.
So you're going to lop off about $100,000
Okay.
in that line item.
Okay.
I would assume I'm going to be very close. I don't know that I've been under a budget since I've been here, but I think we're going to be pretty close. I mean, the one line item that I can never control is miscellaneous services, 56,400, which is repairs by outside contractors, and you can see that's usually a good barometer of where we're going to be at the end of the year. And I'm running about $9,000 below where we were at this point last year. So that's one that I kind of look at because that's hard to control that number. I mean, if my maintenance staff aren't able to fix something and I got to make a call, that number can get out of hand pretty quick. So with that being below where we were at this point last year and having the 87,510 being removed,
Okay.
I think we're in a pretty decent spot.
Okay. That will answer my question. Yeah. Mr. Long? 5. Okay.
Could you refresh my memory? The air handlers at the courthouse are like an ongoing headache for you. Are we addressing that with ARPA funds, or do we have a plan there to change something?
We
improve
haven't
something?
discussed. I mean, I've talked about those air handlers. I've talked about these air handlers in this building. You know, they're all old. You know, I mean, the vibration over the years, you know, loosens pipes and you leak, you know, coolant. You know, that's something that I think it's if the committee would like me to pursue that. I mean, the courthouse is that's going to be the courthouse for the foreseeable future. So if that's something the committee wants me to take a look at and get some quotes, you know, we certainly can. You know, might not be a bad idea.
Chairman Wheeler?
We actually, that's staged in the building projects that we have over there. The first thing is do the basement, and we met with White and Company and everybody to make sure that the next phase, which is going up over at the courthouse, is going up into Sandy's office, because that's not ADA compliant in the workplace. So that has to be, because that's part of the Attorney General's thing, is start moving on to the non-urgent or time-specific things that we had to do. That was one of them. So when we're done in the basement, her employees that are in the affected area will move down into the basement, into the open office we're building down there, while we redo that, and at the same time, we're doing an assessment of all the air handling units in that building. Yeah. Now, when I first raised my hand is it time to look at those separately on the roof, or do you recommend that we just wait until the basement is done to do the air handlers?
I think we can probably wait till the basement's done. I mean, we're in middle of July right now. Like I said, we may be able to get them fixed where they work for a few more years, but I think it's going to be something that eventually that's something that we're going to want to probably look at, because it doesn't make sense to keep spending money repairing and having our guys reset the units on a daily basis. And I mean, it's just a lot of wasted time and money. So I think we can get them to a point, but long-term plan, I think we need to look at doing that probably within the next few years.
Maybe while we have ARPA money, that's time to look at that.
Yeah, I agree. And just to mention, it was temporarily moving Sandy's people in the basement. I didn't say that temporarily. I didn't want to freak everybody out. They'll go back upstairs when we're done with that office, or to her plan, whatever she determines where she wants to put people. So,
but overall, I mean, we're in a pretty good spot. You know, knock on wood, we haven't had any, you know, major issues. Everything that I've handled over the last month has been, you know, I would call them normal wear and tear on, you know, the buildings. So I'm happy to report last month has been overall pretty good, and probably a lot of that had to do with the fact I was on vacation for a week. So.
How you doing?
Just another comment. We had occasion to be out at Jerome Combs the other day for a contract thing. The new floors out there, beautiful.
Thank you.
It looks very nice. The steps.
Thank you. Yeah, the
which
rubber
were always
steps
a problem. The steps are amazing. So
yes, thank you.
Good job there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, Wes, kudos to you. I was out there, different meetings and stuff, and that's a lot of labor-intensive work out there in terms of the entryway and all that stuff. Real good stuff. You articulated that a lot of plumbing issues. I think, I don't know if you threw out 90% or whatever.
About 80%.
80%. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah, I mean, you've just the nature of the facility. So you've got, a bunch of cells and you have inmates, and let's face it, there's not a whole lot to do on a daily basis, and pushing buttons and toilets and faucets and showers. I mean, they get a lot of wear and tear, and they leak, and, we keep up with it very well, but it's not easy.
16 years old and a lot of employees and people
Right.
living in that building.
Right, yeah, a lot of people housed there, so.
Anybody else? No question?
Let me just,
Yes, Mr. Hunter?
let me just say this, Wes and Chairman, and both chairmen. I really appreciate the specificity that you provide to us. You're not blindsiding us at all, and you articulate what the problems are. You project what problems are. You come up with solutions. I mean, viable, pragmatic solutions, and I appreciate that. Really do.
Thank you, I appreciate the comment.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Done. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? Any other business? You need a motion to adjourn? All right, so Ms. Hudson and Mr. Fetherland second. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
All right.
Anybody opposed, the same sign.